All right, folks, thanks for joining us for another episode of the DTC show. We have a heater for you today. We brought in half man, half cyborg, half Vision Pro, Phillip Jackson, on the cutting edge of commerce, content, everything. He's the man, and he's going to see through the future in his Vision Pro. Phillip, welcome.
Phillip, tell us what we're going to see.
Yeah, DTC News of the Week. Figure out how we're going to be engaged on a deeper level in the future. Obviously, SaaS Survivor, one of your favorite segments. Absolute bop. I'm going to give you my prediction of the future and give you a little existential dread to boot. We're going to give away some merch. Definitely not rigged. That's definitely not rigged, and that's coming up. And metaphor time with Jess, which, by the way, I stick around. I hope you like baseball. It is inside baseball. And then finally, Rabah gets to drop all his friends' goods one more time. So that's what you can look forward to today.
What a pro. What a pro, Phillip.
Wow, Denzel'd it. Just one take. That's it. Well done, sir.
It's the DTC show. Jump right in, you better get on it fast so you don't miss anything with Rabah and Jess. It's the latest news and some random ass guest. All your favorite segments that you are obsessed. Win some merch, be a part of the show. Get your ass up in the chat and let it all flow. So jump right in, there is so much to know. It's your number one marketing show.
Gets in your head. It does.
That's so good.
It's
That's
a bop.
So good. It is a bop.
So welcome everyone to episode 2 of this D2C show experiment. I think it's working. Keep doing it, having fun. If you're having fun, then we're having fun, and that's the whole point. We do have Phillip Jackson here, which we'll introduce in a bit. But before we get started with that, I just want to show off what's possible for the chat in terms of what y'all could win here. So we have several different merch items here. We got a reversible bucket hat. We have this split shirt, and then we have this hockey jersey. And we're giving away all of these to 2 people. One is if you retweet this show from Rabah's tweet or from mine or wherever, you'll be added into one drawing. And also, if you say something interesting or funny in the chat, like Chris has already done, you'll be added to the second drawing as well. So I try to be a little extra with this merch. What do you think, Rabah?
Oh man, I love your merch game. I got to tell you, that T-shirt goes hard. The hockey sweater, incredible. I've never been a bucket hat guy, but I think the bucket hat lands. But I just, it's one of those things where you like it on other people, but it's just it doesn't. It's not a car I'd ever drive. But I think all in all, 12 out of 10. 12 out of 10. Phillip, what do you think through the lens of the Oracle?
I'm trying to buy it right now. I'm like, I have to retweet. To get in on this drawing. This is wild. I don't think I'm sort of a hat guy, but I put my hat on the back so that my hair still does the thing.
Yeah.
So the bucket hat's kind of out, although I feel like I could rock all of these. I love it.
Andy loves a good bucket hat. If Andy approves, we're good to go. We are GTG.
And props to our design intern who actually came up with these. So putting them to the test, feet to the fire here. So getting started with Phil, I'm sure everyone is destined to know all about you, Phil. So let's just.
I will be blessed to have the greatest guest. Let's hear your story in the 10 seconds that we have left.
What's your story, Phil?
Phillip Jackson and co-founder of Future Commerce. We are a media company. We're the culture magazine for the e-commerce and retail industry.
Time's up, sounds amazing, but we gotta go. If you want to know more, check the description below.
I got to say that was a way better swing than Phoenix. These are getting better. I think people are there's gonna be an adaptation, Darwinism at its finest. Well done, Phil. Well done.
It's very good. I got everything I wanted to say in, so I'm happy about that.
Yeah, you are living the future commerce right now. Giving future or as my kids
I
say.
am giving future. I do. I do give good future, is what I've been heard. I've been told that on occasion, but this is I'm really living the meme out right now. I wish you guys could see what I'm seeing. I've got commerce all around me. It's everything I've ever wanted it to be. This is
Wow.
the future. Yeah.
Oh
I'm
my
surprised
gosh,
you're
I
able
love it.
to pull this off and the pod. Well, so what people don't know is in the green room was Phil's persona, and it was almost too unsettling that I had to like not do it. But it was like serial killer vibes. It was just kind of creepy.
It does give the sort of like Hannibal Lecter, I am wearing Philip's face sort of a thing.
Right.
Like it puts the lotion on its AI skin or gets the hose again.
Oh my gosh,
So yeah, I
this is
definitely,
amazing.
I'm getting that from the persona at the moment. I mean, I have been told this is the worst this tech will ever be, and we're definitely demonstrating that today.
Yep.
That's fair. Yeah, V1s are always never the path. Fun to be on the bleeding edge, though, to be fair.
So we invited Phil on to talk all about that weird thing he has on his face in the News of the Week segment. But before we do that, let's just get this jingle going because we paid for it.
It's your DTC News of the Week, the latest news with a spicy critique.
So before we get into that, there's one thing that I thought was interesting, worth bringing up that is relevant for like hardcore D2C people, and that is the engaged view attribution setting on Meta. And this has just come out. It says the engaged view attribution counts and optimizes for people who play your video ads for a minimum of 10 seconds or 97% of the length of the video if it's less than 10 seconds and convert within a 1-day video window. And I think this is particularly interesting because for the view attribution is just not good. It's like it feels like it just hoovers up as much as possible, and it can cannot be generally trusted. But I like making engaging creative. I know that this impacts people beyond the click, and especially if it's like over 10 seconds. And I do want to measure that. And so far, just straight view attribution has not been the tool. So I do have high hopes for this method.
I love that Beyond the Click. That should be like a podcast name or a band name. That's a great bar. So tell me more how you're going to leverage this, Jess, because I know you do a lot of really in-depth video analysis, analytics. You look at drop-off rates, when people are dropping off, etc. How does this impact if I'm a media buyer deploying paid media, or if I am, a creative? How is this going to impact anything? Or like, how does it impact your workflow? Does that make sense? Because I get what you're saying, but like, take me down a layer of like, okay, rubber meets the road.
Yeah. So I think with anything new, and Barry Bing Hot, I don't know who that guy is, random guy, but he's asking, is it new? It may not be technically new, but it's still rolling out, and a lot of people don't have it yet. So I think the first thing, whenever there's a new feature like this, what you don't do is like jump all in and be like, I'm going to orient my campaigns. Like, this is the new CPA. I think you need to get this data and look at how it relates to view, to 1-day click, to 7-day click, and see what that relationship is. And if it feels strong, or it feels like there's some connection there, then start optimizing for that in campaigns. But I haven't gotten to the point personally where I'm like really I don't have enough data collected on this to make a call just yet.
Yeah. Phil, the chat wants to know what you're looking at. What are you currently looking at?
While you guys were on that rabbit hole that I'm not very versed in, I'm actually watching Nick Sharma on Kurt Elster's podcast on the right. And I've recorded it just to prove that that's actually what was happening. So just letting you know, that's full transparency.
Oh my gosh!
He's dropping bars over there too. He's sprinkling enough stuff in there. It's making this whole thing very interesting right now.
Oh my gosh! Amazing.
So Phil, do I have to like watch for your little eyes to pop up to make sure you're paying attention here? Is that
let me see. Let's see. I could do this. So if I actually go into full immersion mode right now, this is actually really nice. I'm watching the rain fall somewhere in California. I don't know. Does my persona come through? Can you see it? You can't really see it because I've got all these lights.
Yeah.
I think that the fact that I have a big dorky thing strapped on my face is what's
Right.
actually the distracting thing about the Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
I think it has less to do with the bad tech of the screen on the outside,
Yeah.
and more to do with generally what's happening right there.
Andy might be front running now with the best comment. Phil is demoing engaged views. Well done.
He's going
Well done,
for the
Andy.
bucket hat. So what's
Well,
happening.
he wants the bucket hat.
If
All
if I had to kind of link this back to this particular tech, the scary thing about the Apple Vision Pro, and I think the Meta Quest Pro before it, but it got almost no airtime, is the like eyeball tracking, the vision tracking is
Mm.
uncanny. It is the thing that is probably the most terrifying part of this. I don't know how much tech is required to make that happen, but I can see this being really, really useful for user studies and user research and figuring out, how to do optimization.
That's
Right. That's right around the
That's
corner for us.
interesting.
We used to have big money and paid, a lot of in my enterprise commerce days, we'd pay, a
Yes.
bunch of testing agencies for user research to figure out, how to optimize. I feel like that tech is literally coming to every single e-commerce builder right now through this device, which is just wild. But yeah, engage views.
All right. Well, let's just dive right into it because the Apple Vision Pro has been released to consumers. They have it in their hands.
Yep.
We have news articles that are like Apple Vision Pro will make $1 trillion, and Vision Pro owners are struggling to figure out what they just bought or
Yeah.
things I no longer need after buying the Apple Vision Pro. And so, I think it's important just to take a breath and note that we are like fully in the throes of the hype cycle. It is
Yes.
hard not to ignore that. And so, if you're feeling like, oh, I'm being left out, wait 3 months and see what happens. But Philip, you did not wait 3 months.
No.
Here.
No, I was there on launch day. I wanted to go in and get the demo firsthand. I thought I would, brave the crowds. And Jess, I'll be honest with you, there was almost nobody in the Apple store when I went in. I don't know that a lot of people actually care all that much about this device. I think it's a great piece of discourse. But so I was like, I went in for the content. I got my poor wife. I dragged her in to film me, like doing the demo, thinking it would be like a madhouse in there.
Mhm.
And I'm like, can you please like angle it so where there's people behind me so it doesn't look like I'm the only idiot on planet Earth that's buying this thing right now. But
Those shots landed
yeah.
though. She nailed those shots. They looked great.
I think so. And
looked great.
none of it was staged. Like I really did have
It felt candid.
Yeah, I thought I had it. That was an actual response. I was giggling. Something I was like, oh, it was kind of cringy to watch back, to be honest with you. But just truly, it really is an interesting, like over the top experience, and it does something different. I also have
Mhm.
Quest devices, and it is something different. And I love different. I love new. But I'd love to talk a little bit more about some of the things I think do make it kind of interesting that are being overlooked at the moment. But
Right.
Yeah.
So to show people, because I don't think the demos, I just never trust like the demos coming out of Apple, but
yeah,
I did see this video online, and I'll just narrate it for the podcast listeners. So this guy's got locked windows like all over the house. He's got 4 for his computer. He's got a TV screen. He's got YouTube recipe over the stove. There's like a notes app on the fridge. Like the window lock on this is next level. Clearly,
it's wild. Yeah, it's wild.
And for
I actually have a
people that don't
tweet,
know-
and I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I didn't mean to talk over you, Philip. For Jess, for people that don't know, what do you mean by window lock?
So there's like it's like pass through. Like you can see what's outside, but there is a screen that is sort of hovering in air, and that hovering is fixed to a point in the room, and you could look side to side, and it stays there. And so I have the Quest, and this you can kind of do this, but you don't never leave the room at all and come back or whatever. And so this is just like, so I'm curious, Phil, like this. So I see this and it looks amazing. It looks next level,
Yeah.
but also I'm like, this I would never even want to do
Yeah.
this.
Well, unfortunately for you, this is the future that advertising demands. So I'm pretty sure that's your job, to be honest with you. But
Inventory is
I
what it
actually
is.
I dropped a tweet into the chat. I don't know if you have a way of displaying it with this really sexy Windows system that you have going on in the live stream. But if anything, we can make note of it. On my Twitter, I posted a video this morning that I had the Vision Pro on, and I went to go check out. I have in my hallway of my bedroom, I have like sort of a wraparound mirror. It's like a
Yeah.
three angle mirror, and I wanted to see what the Vision Pro does with that. But what I realized when I went to go film that was there was this window hanging out in my peripheral vision, and it was just there, but I couldn't grab it. And I couldn't figure out where it was coming from. In this tweet, you'll see I've cropped it to where I left a window downstairs in my office that I'd forgotten about, and it tracked the Z-axis all the way upstairs. So like the lock is beyond just what you're seeing in this video,
Yeah.
Jess. It is like truly spatial, where I went upstairs, left it behind down in my office, had to go retrieve it. So my big takeaway is if you're prone to forgetting where you left your keys, this is not the device for you.
Yeah.
Well, I could see some really interesting implications in terms of like immersive experiences that are like, maybe I don't buy the Vision Pro, but I'm going through X, Y, or Z, like escape room on steroids or things of that nature, where you can drop these little Easter eggs all throughout an actual physical space. Because that's been my biggest intrigue. Is I always thought VR was going to be a lot less compelling than AR. And so for people, virtual reality is essentially changing your setting, your reality. You're transporting yourself to some other place. Whereas augmented reality, AR, is essentially augmenting the space around you with whatever you want. So I love it. I was actually pretty bullish on like the Ray-Bans, the Snapchat ones that they did. I thought was one of the better drops ever. I thought the product was great. It just didn't land. And for me, how do you kind of navigate how you're going to use this, as well as like, societal impact in terms of like, I don't know. I think I'm just getting old, but that's my little kind of get off my lawn yelling at the sky old man stuff. It's like, man, I don't know if this is a world I want to live in. Like I already interact with a lot of younger people that are really socially inept in a lot of ways because they're so integrated into tech and screens that they don't know how to interact in person. And it's like a very weird vibe. And I don't know if I'm just, again, old man yelling at the sky kind of stuff, but am I getting down too deep in the like, it doesn't matter, Rabah, just, drop the 4K?
All technology works this way, where you could, at the very beginning of it, you could say, who's asking for this? Right. I think that always has happened. There's a wonderful book to read called The Victorian Internet, which talks about the proliferation of the telegraph machine and how the thing that made the telegraph an incredible piece of technology and in joining people together was when it became a means for commercial gain and mercantile expansion. So it was great when Queen Victoria could, command ships in the colonies. That's cool. Like moving forces around, and doing military exercises. Like it is great for communication. But when something becomes commerce enabled, that's when it becomes a viable medium for all the other things that we do in life. In fact, in the book, highly suggested you check it out. In the book, it actually talks about like all the inventors of the age were immersed and second nature telegraph users. So like Thomas Edison, for instance, was a telegraph operator, famously proposed to his second wife, who he met on the telegram, by the way, as another telegram.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. He proposed to his second wife by tapping in Morse code on her knee.
And
so
chivalry's dead.
I know. So like, internet dating's been around for at least 200 years. So this, whether we like it or not, this is a new medium for experience. I don't know if it's necessarily commerce enabled yet. So I have tried out the 6 apps that are like retail shopping apps. I wrote a piece about it for Future Commerce about the Crumble Cookie. The Crumble Cookie app being the one that's the oddball, only, the only sort of like shopping app that doesn't really make sense among the others. You have Alo Yoga, you have Lowe's, Decathlon, etc.
J. Crew, right? J. Crew dropped one.
J. Crew dropped one. All of these feel like last generation device apps that have sort of made the port over. So they really feel like MetaQuest experiences that are virtual closet. They're really, or in-room visualization. This is something else. And that's where I think that, once commerce is unlocked for this headset, I think it's going to take the leap forward.
Well, in terms of the social aspect, I
you
get
don't
what
think
you're
this
saying.
is very social? This is so social.
There's a lot of there's plenty of utility for it, except when you are the utility for the user, for someone else, or if two people in the room wearing this, like there's still a wall between half of your face, and it's and the eyes popping through is not a suitable replacement for that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But one thing I'm curious about is, like, I have 4 Quests in my household. We, opposed to you, Rabah, like we love VR. Like it's so fun, and the kids play games and stuff. And one of the biggest use cases is like my son just watches Netflix on like a quote unquote huge screen on his Quest. And so I feel like, and the Quest screen is not that great. It's not 4K. It's not even compared to this. So this feels like it could be a TV replacement. Particularly for like solo bachelors or whatever,
Oh, that's what I was bullish on about, because I don't know about you guys, but like when I am way more productive when I have a monster monitor. So like I have a big studio display at home. Like I just drive better and can do more when I have better touch tools. So it's like Minority Report, move things around. So that does actually excite me a little bit. So take away the kind of curmudgeon Luddite type of view of like, oh, this is going to ruin the world. I think that is sexy. Where being able to travel with this and work like at a hotel, because especially as much as I've been traveling lately, like working on a 14-inch screen is it's brutal. And so being able to take this versus having to schlep a monitor with me or something like that, I think is a really sexy idea. Cool. But with that being said, I can't really wear over the ear cans because my ears get hot. And if I'm doing like no, I'm serious. Because if I'm doing like a 4 to 6 hour session, like my ears get hot and then it totally messes up my flow. So that's my other question to you, Phillip, is like, how long have you worn it in perpetuity? Does it get heavy? Does it get hot? Like, do you get like when you go skiing or something, you get kind of the imprint on your face?
Oh, yeah.
Like, give me some color there.
Well, can I respond to one thing you just said, which is you said, is this going to ruin society? I mean, that supposes that society is already ruined. I think we're probably past the point of gone on a couple of things.
We can go deeper. We can go further.
We could. We really could. What do we have to lose at this point? I think is the point I'm trying to make. Listen, it is not comfortable to wear any VR headset for any length of time, period. And as a person who has tried various VR devices, the Vive, the PS VR, my kids have Quest 2, and then this one. This by far, I think, has the best fit. It is also, I wouldn't say it's like heavier to a point that I wouldn't wear it for an extended period of time, but I have only worn it at the max, I think 2.5 hours at this point. Okay. I did a joke video. I took a couple meetings from my walking treadmill desk in the garage while I was wearing this. And I joined a few internal calls with my persona. It's a distraction. I'm a distraction from like actually doing real things. For me, I don't think it disappears the way that I wish that it would. Outside of the feeling of wearing it, it is immersive. But the thing that is actually most vivid is the screen, and you don't really get real life through it. You could go to so many other tech reviews to get a better sense of review of this. My sense is that it needs to get a lot lighter, and it needs to become more socially acceptable before people actually use it. But yeah, I think to your point, traveling with it is going to be incredible, especially if you're doing long work sessions. On Sunday, I did an edit session for our After Dark podcast, which is a subscriber only feature, futurecommerce.com/plus, by the way.
Look at this shameless plug. Get him, PJ. Get him, PJ.
I'm sitting in the living room. I'm standing in the middle of the living room, and I have a Reddit, or I have an edit window open from Reaper on my laptop on the left, and it's massive, right? I've got tracks stacked. I've got a really wide screen, wider than I'll ever have on even my 50-inch over here, which is out of field of view for you. I think there is a creative application that is really impressive. The other thing is, like, what standing desk do I need? Anywhere I go, I have a standing desk now with this. So it's an interesting, it changes a lot of things contextually for me, but it's still in the home.
Andy in the chat asks if this is an external monitor killer from your experience so far.
100%.
Oh, really?
Wow. Okay.
100%. Yeah. I have two large, expensive external monitors. This trumps both of them. I would definitely not need two of them, and it's resizable. The resolution is extraordinary.
Wow.
I don't even know what to say more about that. If you're an Excel kind of a guy, man, the sheets you could edit on this sucker would be so sick. But yeah, the resolution's amazing, better than any monitor that I own. And if you were to contrast this against, the Apple Cinema Pro display, it's almost the same price.
That's true. Yeah. So Phil, my last question, and then we can move on from this topic, is about the dork factor, because I think Apple has done a pretty good job. I think if anyone can overcome the dork factor, it's Apple. I think as soon as you attach the battery pack with the wires, we're in a different pocket protector territory or something. But I'm curious, you've seen yourself in the mirror, or how do other people? Can you tell how people react beyond the novelty? You
don't like this look where it's in the top pocket.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know that.
Look.
You were hiding that.
No, I did it while he was talking. I'm picking up the.
You have to walk around with that. It's like an IV or something,
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the dork factor. Well, so I don't think you can't see my 11 coming through in the metaverse. No one needs any wrinkle reduction. So I don't know, man. It's really dumb looking. As cool as it is, it looks, I would say it's one of those things. It looks so sexy when it's not on a person.
Yes.
It is the coolest industrial design Apple has made since Steve Jobs has departed. Yeah. And yet, when you put it on, there's something about it that just makes you want to punch a person wearing it. And that's a problem, right?
Right. Well, I do think back to my first initial experience or reaction to the AirPods and the thing that dangled out of your ear. And at first I was like, I would never do that. Looks like Q-tips, whatever. But we all change, So I'm curious if this is part of that.
One of my most viral tweets ever was early 2022. I think so. It was the Christmas just after the Christmas where the Quest 2 was kind of everywhere. And there was a guy working from the coffee shop local here wearing a Quest 2, and I sort of dunked on him. I'm not proud of myself for it, but it was a layup. Like, how do you not do it? And now I'm very, very concerned about being the guy who gets dunked on. So I think a lot's going to have to change all at one time. And I think that the price barrier for sure is part of that calculus. Like, it can't be everywhere all at once like the AirPods were. There's a barrier there.
Well, and because I love that point, for me, it's much less invasive to have things in your ear. Like, the eyes are the window to the soul, right? And so, like, even when I'm talking to somebody, I don't want to have my sunglasses on or them have their sunglasses on. Like, I want to connect and understand if they're listening to me, et cetera. So that's something that I think is a little different than the AirPods. I actually think the price point's a feature, not a bug, because the people that are going to buy it are going to be just massive evangelists. They're going to be like you, Phillip, where they're just bleeding edge, kind of like there's no goal other than, exploring, playing, breaking, like seeing where it lands. I guess the final question I would have for you is, what do you think, like if you could run Apple's, development right now, what would you change to make it like just the best thing ever? And then how do you see this failing? So I guess a 2-part question.
Oh my gosh. Oh geez. Well, we all know Siri sucks, so that's not. I mean,
Which is crazy because when they bought it, it was really
yeah.
good, and it's like regressed for years, which is wild.
It's been bad. It's so bad, and I think that so you kind of have there's such a problem with, first of all, typing on this thing's not great already. My unit, and this might just be mine, I don't know, I don't want to speak for everybody. The pinch input for the keyboard can be a little laggy. Also, you've probably seen this in other tech reviews. You have to look right at stuff, and it turns out people don't look right at things all the time. So, that is like, it's its own learning curve. The typing is just so slow. You kind of don't want to do it, but then you have to use Siri, and Siri's not great. So I think any communication that you would do on this, with like legacy through a website, for instance, becomes a real barrier. So what would I fix? I mean, those two things need to take dramatic leaps forward.
Okay.
Text input needs to take a leap forward. Now, I can, use a Magic Keyboard with that.
Sure.
Like I can pair it. There are solutions for all of these things.
Yeah.
They're not as easy or portable as the idea of just throwing this thing in my backpack is. What would I do differently? I think time is the solution here. Like there's an adjustment period socially for us to get used to this. I don't know that we even need a killer app. I think the more people that experience media through this thing, a personal media device, this kills the iPad. If you're on a
iPad's
plane,
the most useless thing, dude. I hate my iPad.
And just the iPad alone, I think has gross volume annually that rivals the GDP of some small nations. So,
yes.
There is a place for this, especially in travel, especially if you're a business user. But fixing those things are not means of marketing or even industrial design. I think a lot of them are just usability, UX and UI, having to adjust. Plus, does anyone remember it took like almost 2 years to get copy paste or cut copy paste on the iPhone?
Oh, for sure.
So there's got to be stuff here that we still have to leap forward on to there.
Yeah. All right.
Do you want to wrap up with Barry's question? So Barry is talking about not traveling, but I think, or actually, I just wanted to comment on. So do you think, because Phillip, you kind of touched on this, kind of Edward Bernays, super horrible human, but just an insane marketer. Do you think that's the move? Because that's kind of what Barry's talking about. You get these sexy, fun, like really cool people. Like imagine, Taylor Swift wearing this, or Drake,
Pharrell,
or some sort of Pharrell, some sort of like fashion icon that has just this impeachable kind of record of being stylist, just these people that are the cool kids at the high school, if you will. And if all the cool kids at the high school are starting to wear stuff that really starts to rip down kind of some of those perceptions of nerdiness, dorkiness, etc., do you think that's the path, or do you think Barry needs to stick to his Post-its?
I love Barry. It's funny. I don't know the answer to that, because I'm sure that there's some way that this could be presented with some person that does have a halo or like a lift, a cool effect. Here's the problem.
Andy,
here's the problem.
This is a PG-13 show, son. Keep it clean.
The issue with this is that we're at the part of the cycle right now where this device is relegated to people who are trying to elicit a negative response for engagement. So if you're where we are right now is in my day when the iPhone first came out, I don't know if you remember, there were viral videos where people would stand in line for 2 to 3 hours. They would go and buy the iPhone, and then they would film themselves smashing it on the ground.
100% remember that.
You remember that? Yeah.
100%.
That is where we are in the cycle. We're not at the point in the cycle where celebrities use this thing or are paid to use the thing to make it sexy. We're at the part of the cycle where the early adopters are trying to engagement farm on it right now. And you do not want to be associated with that. You want that to go away first. And so that's going to take a little while, I think. But I'm sure that there's a future where, maybe this looks really good on Taylor Swift. I'm not sure.
Okay, let me sneak one more in because I know Jess is killing me because I'm breaking all the timelines. But do you ever see, or do you think there is a place? Do you guys know what silent discos are? Like where you'll okay, yeah. So for people that are listening that don't know, there's something called a silent disco where you basically can go to a place and everybody has headphones on, but it's a sync stream and you can listen as loud as you want. Everybody's jamming, dancing. Do you think there's a place for this to have people congregated around things using this, Phillip, or you think that's a bridge too far?
Let me think about what the sensory deprivation of a silent disco is supposed to do. It's like it's supposed to make this communal experience actually inherently more visual. Yes. Right? Because there's things about ambient audio that take you out of the experience where putting the sound right in your ear hole sort of removes that part of the sensory, right? So it's not listening to people breathe. It's not listening to the tone of the room. It's not listening to people's footsteps. It's, I am clued in visually on the person in front of me. And it's almost like, it's very like sensual. Yeah. There's something 100%. About that is its own like way of being hyper-focused on one sense. This is total sensory deprivation. So this is like the opposite end of that, where I am hyper closed off to everything around me. We don't have two of these. I think there's a way to share an experience through like some share play. I've not experienced that yet. I don't know anyone who I could share this with. Maybe Aaron Nosbish, he has one. He's local. But maybe there's a future for that. I think for right now, this is like a personal media device. It's its own personal thing. It's really hard to even talk about, let alone, share communally.
Well, talk about it later. We've got more segments to get to.
Let's go.
So SaaS Survivor, we're going to have to do this one real quick, Rabah.
Okay.
SaaS Survivor, there can be only one software provider.
So this is a segment we've already established, the 10 best SaaS tools, but we don't have everything on there. So I'd love to hear from the chat what should be on here. I know you wanted to get Fermat on there. Fermat,
soft A, yogging, like a soft J.
Anything that needs to go on, something needs to come off. So,
what's the chat got for us? Barry, Andy, you're already leading the bucket hat. But let's get
what
some
about
more
Ad
action.
Beacon? We could probably get that off there now that Phoenix.
Phoenix you can't do that to her. Oh my gosh, savage move. I think I would. What's Motion? That's creative, right?
Yeah,
it's the
creative tool.
Yeah, that's Reza. I love Reza. I love Fantastical. But I got to tell you, they have openings. It's kind of like they're offering for, or their Calendly offering. Bring it back.
Very with Ad Beacon again.
So I think I would, I don't know what I would replace Fantastical with, but I think it could probably be on the chopping block. CapCut probably could get edited out.
What's Future Commerce Learning? What that sounds
Emmett, I'll pay you for that later on. It's a e-learning. It's a cooking show, but make it learning from Future Commerce.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'm serious. I'll drop you a trial.
All right, Phil, we'll put it on there, but you have to take something off. What's it going to be?
I'll take it off. Oh God, can we get rid of ChatGPT? Are you just so sick of it?
Ooh, right. Wow.
No, actually, if for real though, you don't have to put it on. Perplexity, I think, replaces ChatGPT for me. I think that's a real thing.
Oh, I'm not even hip to that. Is this like another?
It's I think it's
a little bit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a aggregated search. There were these tools back in like the mid-aughts where it would get you the top results from all of the search engines. So you had a more democratized view of like what various consensus sources would say about what is authoritative. Perplexity is
Okay.
kind of doing that in the large language model age. It is great for research on people in particular. So if you do
Really?
I
content
got
and
it.
you're trying to go down the rabbit hole on people, it's shockingly good at doing that. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Moving
Well,
on to the next
Microsoft's
segment.
into
Oh,
this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Jess. I didn't know that Microsoft had their hand in this. They're low key
they're
getting
everywhere.
some. Yeah.
Sure. Shout out to my wife in the chat earlier. I did see that.
Aw, let's go. Holy crap, Philip. This is
Phil
insane
from
for
the future.
people.
Phil from the future with a supercomputer. He's gonna show us the future consumer.
So Phil, wanted to have you on. You're clearly a future-oriented person. You work at some future-related thing. I'm curious for our D2C marketers, paint a picture of what our future is like, or what is the realm of the future consumer. You can choose whatever time frame you like, but you probably know more
Yeah.
than anyone.
Okay, great. I've been working on this new keynote talk. So like part of my job is talking about this professionally. So I've been working on this new keynote talk that like reimagines what this idea of like bridge devices and bridge experiences look like as time goes on, right? Like when we invented e-commerce, we basically rebuilt the physical print media catalog in a digital form, and then it became something different, right? It took a little while for it to evolve, and that is broadly known in sort of like psychology as skeuomorphism. So it's like this idea that we parrot the prior our our real world, or maybe our understanding of like an experience, into a new medium. So like what does the future of commerce look like? I think that like I'm kind of wearing something like that right now, where a lot of what you're experiencing in say Apple Vision Pro, or maybe in a Meta Quest 3, is an AR experience, but it's really just the web is all around you. I have websites everywhere. The thing that comes next is, how does the website become a place that it's not just flat and planar? How can I reach into it and grab something? And that's where, if you look at what Shopify is doing right now with spatial, they're building tools along with Polycam to do this thing called neural radiance fields, which is NERFs, which is like this 3D scanning technology. Shopify is doing this right now. They have an app for it where you can with your phone, any phone, you can scan around in video around an object, and it will turn that into a 3D spinnable model, where you would have traditionally paid someone to model that for you. It'll automatically turn that into something that you can place into a Shopify website and then spin it around. In the future, which could be a year from now, 2 years from now, reaching into that page while wearing something like this and grabbing it out is a very plausible reality. And so that experientially takes, like, think about all the implications of that, of like, what are the new types of engagement, of measurement? What is the time on site? What does the time on page look like? Like, what are new goals that we need to set in order to encourage people to have more of these like playful experiences as opposed to just conversion experience? How do those make people convert? Those are all new frontiers that physical retail people know how to do. Digital retailers do not know how to do.
The website is old. It's the flat scrolling. It's just an old experience. It's friggin' decades old. I'm excited for what's next, for sure. All right, so let's give away some merch here real quick.
Let's go.
Chat so fresh, chat putting in work. Who in the chat is gonna win this merch?
So this is for the commenters here, and again, you're winning like the complete package, all 3 garments here. Spin the wheel.
Da 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 da. Andy, the bucket hat. Let's go.
He wanted a bucket hat, and he's going to get one. So I'll reach out to you. I'll reach out to you, Andy, and then I'm just going to do another one for The retweeter, we have 4 here. Feels a little sad. I think we can do better next time. But
We can do better next time.
Andy, you got to take a picture of the bucket hat in the hot tub, my friend.
With the Vision Pro on though.
In the hot tub.
No, that's true. It is rigged. That's 2 format winners in the span of the 2 shows. Rigged.
And then so we actually have one more merch item, which is the DTC Show tour shirt here, and I'm gonna put both.
Oh, that gas. That is gas.
All names on here.
That's amazing.
Limited edition tour shirt, and Phil, we'll send this to you anyways.
Wow. Drum roll, please.
I got to see this.
Yeah, the hockey jersey is sweet.
Jamie Ahmed.
Let's go, Jamie.
Well done. Well done, guys. So we have 2 more segments. Let's just dive right into the next segment in the time we have left here. Metaphor time.
When it seems complicated and you really, really hate it, when nothing becomes a chore, it's time for a metaphor with Jess.
So
these jingles, they get me every time.
I live, sleep, eat metaphors. Just the way my brain thinks. It just helps me explain and understand things. And so there's a concept I want to bring to you guys and the public at large relating to creative testing of meta ads. Mm-hmm. And so I've seen there's voices out there who are like, Meta knows within 50 cents if an ad's going to be a winner, or $5, or somewhere under the projected CPA. And I don't understand why they necessarily think that. It seems like a hope or a faith or something. Yeah. But from my point of view, ads are like baseball players. They're like batters, and then you want to put money like the projected CPA. You want to put at least that amount of money into it, into test to see if it works. And that's like one swing. Like the CPA is like one swing. And if they miss, well, the batter's not out. It doesn't mean that, Jose Canseco never misses. He misses like all the freaking time or whatever, So like ideally you want to do multiples of that CPA. If two is like 2 swings, 2 strikes, you're still in the game. 3 is, if you do 3, that's like 3 strikes if it's not there. But also maybe some of those are like they foul off, and you look at the creative metrics and it's like, okay, there's something here. It's got a good hold rate. I'm actually going to give this, that's a foul. It's not a strike. I'm going to give it another shot at another like swing or another multiple of the CPA. And so the way you should think about this is like, you should have the multiple of the CPA should be determined on how confident you are in the creative or the batter. Mm-hmm. So I've seen people where their tactics are like, just take all your organic posts and put them in some bid cap campaign and just see what happens, which makes sense because that's like, just take all these little leaguers, and if someone gets a home run, that's fine. It's going to happen. Right. But if they strike out one, if they, one swing and a miss, you're gone, easy. But anything below the CPA is like not even a swing. It's like the pitcher being like, I'm not going to pitch to you because I don't like the way you look somehow. And, or the algorithm saying that. So that actually doesn't make sense to me. So I do encourage people to at least give 1 or 2 swings to your creative if they are professional major leaguers. If you've put in the effort to do that, if you've paid someone $500 to make an ad, put money into it. You have confidence to do that. Have confidence to spend on that as well. Does that make sense?
Ish. So you're saying that when do you know to, or I guess how do you identify the little leaguer versus the major leaguer?
Yeah. So if just random organic posts that weren't designed to be ads, yeah, those are little leaguers. Or what Kinship does, where they like do a ton of seeding and they get like a million things back. Yeah, none of those I really just don't know enough to have confidence in any one of those.
Okay.
They're all little leaguers. Just all give them like one swing or whatever and see what happens,
Yep. Yeah.
But if you go to a competent agency or you have competent creative partners, or if you're iterating on a winner, like that is already almost like an all-star who's just like coming back up to the plate.
Yes.
Give them a few swings and, they'll probably hit a home run.
Okay, I'm tracking. And then what is your threshold like in terms of like if this person, maybe they're over the hill and they don't have the fastball anymore. When do you pull that big leaguer?
Usually when stuff gets like 10 times the CPA is probably too high. And if the creative metrics aren't there, like if they are swinging like at the ball's in the dirt and they're still swinging, or the thumbs up is terrible, 2 times the CPA and you can get them out. But you can start to feel that out as you're doing the pitching. Yeah,
modulating it. Amazing. Barry, you are the umpire, and of course you don't need to wear a helmet. That head is hard as a rock. Come on, here all night, folks. Make sure to tip your waitress. I like that though. That's a good mental model.
All right. So everyone's favorite segment, Cops and Robbers.
That's the sound of the police. Robbers on the loose and he's stabbing you peace.
I still can't believe we don't pay the Bad Boys song, but hey, you can't win them all, can you? I'll be quick. I am doing 2 quick ones. So this is a bit of a homer pick. Buddy of mine, Sonder Schroeder, we worked at Triple L together. He ended up starting this thing called Buffed. You can go to buffedenergy.com. It's basically like a bunch of caffeine, nootropics, just some of that go-go juice. I really, really like it. Be careful though. Like and it says on the package, you really don't want to do more than 2. Like it starts to get a little crazy. And then this is something that is kind of making the rounds. These Gruns Daily, and it's basically like an AG1 in essentially gummy form. I've really been liking them. Been really good. So Gruns and Buffed. Those are the 2 smaller ones. And then if you want a longer version. Shameless plug, follow Phillip's lead. Over there in the closet, I just did a review on Lola blankets. And I've been very, very smitten. There's a few things that I didn't like, but the main blanket is sensational. So go check out DTC Hunter by Fermat if that is your scene. But Gruns and Buffed Energy, those are my 2 picks.
So Gruns, is it all the same stuff as AG1, just different form factor?
It's same, but different. Yeah. Like it's a different form factor, so you don't have to mix it up and stuff. They're actually really delicious too. Like I don't know if you guys have tried AG1, but AG1 is not super pleasant to drink. It's not terrible, but it's not, you know what I mean? Like you're chugging it down. You don't have to mix it up, and then you get it in these nice little packages. So it's essentially kind of similar to what Dan's doing over at Create, where they're taking a supplement and just putting it into a gummy. But they're delicious. I've been using them for a week or so now. Candidly, I don't know if it's doing anything, but it makes me feel better that I'm doing.
You have to manifest it, Robert.
I have to manifest.
If you're not manifesting it. That's on you.
Yeah,
exactly.
How's your poop? That's the real question. What's your poop like?
That's smooth sausage. It's good. It's
how
good.
You know it's working.
We're doing great.
So that is the end of the show. Phillip, stick around. Thank you for the chat and everyone to putting in the work, especially Barry working overtime, not winning on the wheel again.
But
that was great. You can catch the actual episode on YouTube later next week or something. I think we're also on Spotify podcast or something. I'm not sure how it's going to work, but we're there.
They do video now. Yeah, they do video now.